One fan base, one city, one team brings us all together. The Cleveland Browns. If you're a Browns fan, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Down with the Browns. And we're back with another episode of Down with the Browns, baby. Me pitching in for Christian, trying to do him a solid.
Yes, sir, for sure. As you can tell, I am a little under the weather.
Yep.
But we're still here because, I'm a dog, and dogs do it in any condition. So, what's up, Dave? How have you been?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Family's doing well. We're blessed, and
Yeah.
it's officially the off season for the Browns. So, let the new season begin.
Yeah, officially off-season time. A lot of hope going into it. Looking bright for the Browns. I don't know about you, but Kansas City winning the Super Bowl. I don't know why, man, but it gets me so hot for the Browns next year. Because honestly, at full health, man, I think the Browns take the Chiefs. I'm telling
Healthy.
you. Yeah, healthy, bro.
I say it again, like my son said. I mean, what better team was there if the Browns were healthy at the end of the year? Name a better team?
Exactly, David.
They would have competed with everybody.
With anybody. I'm like very sure about that too. And we'll recap the Super Bowl real quick. I know I saw a lot of people complaining about it because the way they hopped up the Super Bowl, they're like, this is going to be an offensive slaughter from both sides. The Niners have a very dynamic offense.
Yep.
Brock Purdy, CMC, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and then you got that line up front with Trent Williams. I saw a lot of people hopping that up like that, and then the Chiefs. You got Mahomes and Kelsey. So you always know that that's going to be a good matchup, and then defensively,
dude, it was a chess match between Spagnuolo and Wilks, and those offensive coordinators. It was just a chess match all game. And I just felt it, dude. When the 49ers kicked that field goal, like, I don't know, man. I would have went for it on fourth down. Everybody just knew that Mahomes was going to lead them down the field and score a touchdown. Everybody just knew it. It was just a matter of fact, except for the 49ers.
Yeah, it's impressive though. Like how both teams showed up defensively. Down the stretch, it was just every yard was earned, man. Because honestly, I expected CMC. I know he went off, but I was expecting a couple touchdowns. I was expecting 100 yard rushing, 100-yard receiving. I was expecting this just massive Super Bowl game from CMC, and it just, still had a great game. What was it, 80 and 80, and then the touchdown early on.
Yeah, really, he was the only bright spot of the offense, really. They said there was a time it was I don't know what the length of time it was, but that the Niners did not convert a first down. They said it game time, real time, it was 2 hours. Not a first down. So the Kansas City defense was really as advertised, I think. And I'm just, wow, what a game.
Yeah, that was, going into overtime, I saw some guy, I can't remember where I heard it at, but I heard that some guy made a stat line that it was going to be triple overtime, and I was like, there's no way that can go into triple overtime.
Yeah. Yep. I wouldn't. If the Bills and the Chiefs probably would have went into triple overtime a couple years ago, which is why that rule changed. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt. But in all, was a pretty solid Super Bowl. We got a question from Drew. Can we all just do away with these stupid halftime shows, please? Yeah, and hey, bro, listen.
Dude, Usher was just okay.
Listen, if Usher was trying to touch my woman like that, bro, I'm telling you, no bodyguard could stop me. I would beat the absolute dog piss out of that man.
Are you talking about with Alicia Keys?
Yeah, dude, I would beat the dog snot out of that guy. I don't care how rich he is, how many bodyguards. Dog piss beat out of him.
Did you see who tweeted it out about he should bring he should bring R. Kelly onto the stage and sing "Same Woman."
I think that was
It was a Raven player.
Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, dude.
Yeah, that's who
Like,
it was.
what? Everybody was like, "What are you doing, dude? Just delete your stuff. Get off of Twitter."
Yeah, for sure. But, at the end of the day, I think we all knew the Chiefs were gonna win that game. I mean, like, honestly, like, I didn't feel like I know a lot of people were hopping it up as it was, like, a rigged game, but, like, I don't feel like it was rigged. I felt like they just went out there and played ball. Like, I don't feel like there's that many bad calls. I mean, I feel like they just let them play kinda.
I mean, the defense is balled out. There's no doubt about it. I mean, a couple, there were some big turnovers.
Yeah.
3 that I can think of, a couple fumbles from each team, and then the muff punt or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
And
But
then Kelsey shoving,
Andy Reid.
No, that was I don't think that shove was like, he did that on purpose. Because like, if you look at it, every time you see it's in slow motion. So I think he was just gassed up and just, like, had momentum and kinda, like, walked into him, if that
Was
makes sense.
saying something to Andy Reid instead of, like, actually addressing him about an issue? So you think he was just, like, emotional and
Yeah,
like,
oh, yeah,
"Let's
I mean
go, Andy," kind of a thing?
no, it was like, I mean, he was going at him for sure, but, like
Dude, yeah, he was, man.
yeah, and yeah,
You see
I
all the
mean
Swifties are freaking out about it because they're worried about Taylor's
Hey,
safety, you know?
dude, man, a lot of people are hating on T-Swizzle, but, at the end of the day, all the Swifties are bringing in revenue for the NFL, and I'm not really that mad about it because that means more cap space for the Browns. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
So, it makes me hyped. But moving forward, I mean, there was some other stuff that happened the past few days. The NFL awards.
what? Why the Browns do okay, or
I
what
mean, from what I heard, they four-peated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clean sweep. Defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. Comeback player of the year, uh, Joe Flacco. Coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, and
Yeah, dude,
assistant coach, Jim Schwartz.
it was a hell of a representation. I
That's a
think
fact.
all of them are, as deserving as anybody else in their category. So, yeah, that was nice to see. The Browns, I mean, just cleaned it up. Really,
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. It was a nice sight to see. I mean, it just felt good. The one that makes me laugh, honestly, is how many people are in an uproar about Myles Garrett winning that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Micah Parsons came out the day of and was just like, Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in the league.
He
I mean,
did.
go look at
He
it.
he did. He sure
Yeah.
did. And that's all I look at. I don't, I just look at, for each person that's willing to probably vouch for Myles Garrett winning that award, there's probably going to be somebody who's going to try and argue against it. But the fact
Yeah.
is that yeah, he disappeared for the last 5 weeks of the season, including the playoff game. But still, I mean, he was a dominating force on a defense that carried the team basically through the mid part of the season. So, I mean, I'm happy you got it. And how
Oh,
many do
yeah,
you
for
need,
sure.
TJ? Like, come on, you need all of them? Like, what? How many do you want?
No, the thing is like, I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. TJ Watt, very, very good pass rusher, very good defensive player. I mean, there is a reason he won multiple times.
You know,
But I think MC actually just brought up a good point. Dwan Jones
he
owns
did.
him.
He sure did.
That is a fact. I mean, pancaked him first game versus him.
There's
That's insane.
such great video of Jones against TJ Watt. There really is.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yep.
And but, like, at the end of the day, I think TJ Watt, like, after watching, like, his tape, if you look at a lot of stuff, it's Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith getting pressure on these quarterbacks, and they're just running right into TJ Watt. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not getting his own sacks, but he is a sack merchant.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm saying
Steelers fans are gonna clip that up real
I don't
nice.
care. They can clip it all they want.
Yeah.
But
I
Myles
think
did
they're
deserve it.
two different players to me. They're two different players. So
Yeah, I mean, Myles is a
you
straight
didn't
edge
compare
rusher.
Reggie White to Lawrence Taylor, so I'm not
Yeah.
comparing Myles Garrett to TJ Watt.
That might be the best comparison I've heard of that. You tweet that, and we'll hop that up on the pod.
Sure.
Twitter.
Sure.
Yeah, you go
My
tweet
pleasure,
that, and
man.
that'll go
Yeah,
crazy.
all my 17 followers, I'll tweet it right out.
Yeah, you do that, man. But which out of all 4 awards, which one do you think was most deserving?
Most deserving. I mean, I still have reservations about Kevin Stefanski. Well, here, I'll go through them. I think Flacco, I don't think there was enough games to where he necessarily was deserving of it. However, because of the hype that was generated from Flacco and what he did, I could
Yeah.
see why he got the award. But most deserving, even though Kevin, there's still some things that I have reservations about.
Yeah.
The fact that team just unraveled starting at week 2, losing Chubb and going throughout the season, and still makes it into the playoffs, although he did get embarrassed. Probably Stefanski is the most deserving, other than Schwartz. Obviously, I think Schwartz is pretty obvious. Although there are actually a couple other assistants that would be very worthy as well. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Honestly, I think the most deserving was Kevin Stefanski. Like, I know you have your doubts on him, but, I
Just a
had I
few.
had I
Not as
had
many as
some
before.
doubts. I had some on him before the season. I think you remember I said if Kevin Stefanski doesn't do something this year, I think he's gone. And the dude put his nuts on the table, said, "Fluff everybody that doubts me, and I'm gonna take this team to the playoffs no matter what." And
Man.
he legitimately did that. 4 different starting quarterbacks. About, you lose your number 1 running back, like you said, Chubb. So many offensive linemen. I'm pretty sure we were picking guys that worked at the local Dollar General to play left tackle and right
Yeah,
tackle.
I mean, who's Garcon, whatever his name is? I mean, who are
Yeah,
these?
we had a guy from Louisville that played in the XFL like 3 months ago. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, when you look at the whole thing, I mean, it's amazing that we were even in the playoffs.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that defense at home, man, was just something else to watch too. I mean,
Yeah,
that helped out a lot. So, I mean, how many we went at home? 8? We went 8 and
a
1?
lot, dude, a lot. I don't know the exact number. I don't have it right in front of me, but it was a lot. It was way better record than it was road, and it
Yeah,
was a joy being at a lot of those games, man. It was just
yeah.
great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we started off really well versus the Bengals. I mean, 24-3, insane game. Um, Watching the Browns just dominate and
Immediate
watching
hype,
my
dude. Immediate talk about Super Bowl. You know, I was
yeah.
talking Super Bowl after we
Oh,
saw that.
man, I remember it, I remember it.
Yeah,
And
and then it just
then
went downhill from there.
4 days
One,
later, just gut punch.
yep, one hit from Minka, and it's all. The whole thing's just a big question mark.
Yeah, and then but continuing on, like, I think Joe Flacco winning comeback player of the year, I think a lot of people were hating on that one as well because 'cause they're like, "DeMar Hamlin literally died on the field."
Yeah,
But
but Damar Hamlin literally didn't play this year.
yeah,
Like,
he played like 6 snaps, only had like
yeah, I
3
mean,
tackles, and most of those were on special teams.
and I saw a lot of the personalities on TV were saying that it shouldn't matter. The man died on the field, and he's back in a uniform. Well, there should be different awards then. I mean, create a couple layers with that, but I mean,
Yeah,
comeback player of the year is you got to have a good season. I think should
yeah,
be the minimum requirement.
yeah. I saw a lot of people saying Baker shoulda won it, but, like, what did he come back from? Like, I mean, he was just dog poop last year.
He came back from being Baker, from being
Yeah.
2021 Baker is what he came back from.
Yeah, that's true. But Joe Flacco, I mean, those last 5 weeks with the Browns, I mean,
Like
they were just nothing short of exceptional.
week
I mean,
after week after week, we're just like, what is going on right now?
yeah.
Like, who is this? Like Brett Favre and Drew Bledsoe and all the good quarterbacks all meshed into one.
Man, I would love to see Joe Flacco back next year. Like, I know a lot of fans would be like, "Oh, there's gonna be like a quarterback hype, it's Watson versus Flacco. Who's gonna win the locker room?" But I don't feel like Joe Flacco's that type of guy, though. Like, I feel like he would help Watson out.
Yeah, he would have to be for that to happen because that is a valid concern about they're going to need all hands on deck rowing in the same direction next year to get behind Watson. But he would have to sign off on that saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I understand what my job is going to be. I'm coming in here as another voice in the room for Deshaun and to do anything I can to help the team win." And if he was able to do that and set that tone right up front, I think they would bring him back and have him. But I mean, he's pretty well liked. So, I mean, that's something dangerous you got to worry about with chemistry and divisiveness in a locker room. That's real.
Yeah,
That's
for
happening.
sure. And like I believe the culture now with Cleveland is probably the best it's ever been. Like, I mean, I feel like they're when people take shots, like even at the what was it, the Pro Bowl thing, like where they're all sitting down and Njoku clap back at Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, if
About the
Cleveland's
Cleveland.
Cleveland, then Dallas is Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one of them things. Like I feel like they're fired up about that. They're like, keep talking trash about Cleveland. We're gonna prove you guys wrong next year. Like one of them top things.
Yeah.
And then MC just said Watson's first impression. I'll be
Not
like,
that quick, MC. Are you serious?
uh,
You know what? Half the
no, that
stadium
don't.
will be too. You won't be the only
Yeah.
one.
But the thing is, Joe Flacco's going to throw 2 to 3 interceptions. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
and you just
he's
hope
a
he
pick
throws for
machine.
404 touchdowns to make up for it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of funny, man. Like everybody was always like, "Oh, Watson turns the ball over so much," and then Joe Flacco literally like doubled his turnovers,
Dude, yeah.
and
I mean,
everybody loved
Watson would not have turned
it.
the ball over that much. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh
He
no,
would not have. So,
no, for sure. Um, but yeah, some other awards we'll talk about. Jim Schwartz, like you said earlier, very deserving of that.
very
I
deserving.
mean,
Yep.
the way the defense changed.
Total transformation.
I
Like
mean,
worst to
from
first
worst
almost. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Worst to first. That's the best analogy there is. And,
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean, he
spectacular
got
when it happens.
yeah, I mean, look at what he did with JOK though too.
I mean, turned him into an all-pro in my eyes.
Yeah,
For
for
me, he
sure.
was an all-pro.
Yeah, I remember early on, we were kinda worried we were gonna lose Schwartz in the offseason.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then I think the road defense kinda scared teams off, and I think a lot of teams were going for more, younger guys.
Yeah.
Explains why, Bill Belichick's still free agent.
Yeah.
Kinda
I mean,
shocking, not gonna lie.
yeah, we'll have to see what happens next year, but I don't see unless something crazy happens. I mean, where is there room for him, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he'll end up going to some team that has, like, an older quarterback that they'll be like, "We'll just ride this quarterback coaching tandem out, and we'll see
Yeah.
how far it goes."
Let's pair Bill with Kirk Cousins for 2 years and see what
Yeah,
happens.
that's what Atlanta was probably gonna do.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Man, honestly, I think Bill Belichick would have done the dang thing too in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Mac Jones is done, so there sounds like they're
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, I think they'll take Drake May, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I
I
think they
mean,
like him. Which that's a Bill Belichick pick, though. I mean, it depends what kinda way they go. Because I mean, I think Caleb Williams is kinda locked in at 1. I think the Bears trade out.
I hope they do because if they don't, that means Caleb Williams is probably going to Chicago, which means the
Justin
Steelers are going to have an opportunity to get Justin Fields, which I do not want at
I
all.
think he's a Falcon, dude. I
I
think he's
hope he
either
is. I hope he stays in the NFC and stays as far away from Pittsburgh as humanly possible.
I mean, the Raiders could be in on him too,
That's
because I
fine.
think that, I mean, why wouldn't you wanna go to Vegas? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, his contract's so aids that if they can cut him this year and, like, get, like, 40,000,000 in cap space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Fields would go to Vegas too. I really do. I think he would definitely do it. Like I said, anywhere but Pittsburgh. So keep him out of the AFC North.
Yeah, I totally agree, and, I think we've already talked about all the awards, haven't we?
Yes. Yes, we
We
have.
have, we have, and as we said earlier, the offseason begins here in just a few weeks. The
Yeah,
NFL Combine is among us,
it is. It is. We're
and
gonna have to
it's
get Noah on here before and after to get some rundown.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll have to get him on,
Browns with
and
Noah will be there.
yeah, and We'll have to get his insight on all that. And it'll be I think it's gonna be fun to see all these guys grade out and see actually how they measure out.
Yeah.
Because like college height and college weight, what they list them at is always wrong. Because like okay, as a Kentucky fan, I saw Wandale Robinson. They listed him at 5'11". That dude is like 5'8"
Yeah.
tops.
Yeah.
5'8" tops, man. They had him at 5'11". Like, no way.
Yeah, I mean, the teams are going to spend that kind of money on a player. They're going to make sure they get accurate data in every way, shape, or form they can. So that's what
Yeah,
that's all about.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see which prospects jump up the board and which ones you learn about and who you get to hear and all that. Like, because there's always them guys that make an impact there and then jump up into like the first round, and then there's people that you'll think you'll be like, oh, this guy's gonna fall in the draft because he did bad at the combine. Because like last year, like people like Jack Campbell for the Lions, like nobody thought he's gonna go in the first.
Hmm.
Like I was thinking that he's gonna be there like when the Browns picked in the second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that. But is there any like specific prospects you're excited to see at the combine and see how
Yeah.
well they grade?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be watching intently to see all the wide receivers. Like, I want to see the whole pool of wide receivers run, workout routes. So I'll be digging into that, and then also, I mean, probably some of the defensive linemen, taking a look at them,
Yeah.
and the linebackers. So those are the three position groups that I'll be paying attention to during the combine.
Yeah, and one thing that I'll be paying attention to here shortly, and probably after the episode, is homage.
What this? You know, I
The
was wondering
greatest,
what this comfortable shirt was.
yeah, the greatest and the most comfortable tees and
Yeah,
hoodies in the world.
yeah.
You know, homage has it all. I mean, it's the best that money can buy. I mean, anywhere from NBA to NFL to MLB, WWE,
They
no
have it
matter what
all.
it is, they have
Yeah.
it all.
And seriously, just to be completely honest about the shirt, because if it was a garbage shirt, I don't know if I would tell anybody it was a garbage shirt, but I definitely wouldn't be giving it compliments. Dude, it really is like one of the most comfortable shirts I got. It freaking drapes on me, right? You know, being
Yeah.
30, I'm a little bit heftier, and stuff. So I like the way it drapes on me. I like the way it's longer. It's a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, anybody who's not checked it out yet, get on there, and
Yeah.
you just scroll through all of it. They got all kinds of stuff, and it's really
Yeah,
cool.
they got so much shirts, so many
Yep.
hoodies, so many sweatshirts. I mean, they're so comfortable. My girlfriend actually stole my Brownie the Elf orange pullover,
Shelby.
and she
That's
stole it. Yeah, Shelby stole a few of the shirts. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, so I'm gonna have to buy her some homage shirts so she'll quit stealing mine. Uh,
There we go. Reward theft. That's what
right. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I actually just got a text from her. She says, "I love that shirt." So yeah, exactly.
there you
You got
go.
another compliment to homage.
Bing.
But back to the Browns.
What do you think
Yeah.
about Dorsey and Dickerson?
Huh? Don't you ever say the word? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Those hires, man. Like the Dickerson hire might have been the best hire we could have made for offensive line. I mean, you go back and you look last year. I mean, Bill Callahan's just an absolute dog. We lose him to Tennessee, and then Dickerson's out in Seattle. Multiple people go down on that offensive line, and they still are elite. They're blocking for Geno. They're blocking for Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And I feel like where he's a younger guy, he's going to connect with the players a little bit better. Because I feel like Bill Callahan, like, don't get me wrong, I get it, great offensive line coach. But I think he might be just a little too old for some of the guys on the offensive line to, like, actually, like, get
Relate to
behind,
it.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like Dickerson brings that youthful spirit, and he knows how to coach well.
Yeah. Yep. That's all good points, and it's obviously he's doing something right because they wanted him, and they did
Yeah,
poach an assistant offensive lineman too, who I don't remember what his name is, but he's pretty good.
yeah.
So, offensive
I
line
can't
coach.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like Stefanski's building one of the best offenses that he possibly could. Because I think the Ken Dorsey hire is going to be a lot better hire than a lot of people think. I think it's going to be, like I said last week, it wasn't the sexy hire, but it's going to be a good hire in the end.
Yep. Yep. What do you think the changes are going to be with the offense? Like, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, we saw what we ran. Obviously, we had a carousel of quarterbacks, but
Yeah. I
you
think
know,
it's going to be a little bit of play action, run, and then deep ball, man. I think that they got him to
is
be
it going to
able
be
to.
like they gave Flacco? Is it going to be that scheme of constantly having his back turned to the offensive line and doing those deep play action bombs?
Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, I think they're gonna just go more pass heavy too. Like, I think it's gonna be like a 55-45, like, pass run. Like, instead of the 50-50, I think it's gonna be a little more pass heavy this year.
Hmm.
Kinda like with Flacco, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see Deshaun running the exact same offense that Joe Flacco was running and hopefully be just as
Yeah.
effective. So we're about to find out, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that these hires are building up to big signings. Like, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the cap space, the Browns don't have it. They don't have any money, buddy." Like, but I think the Browns are gonna go out there in free agency. They're gonna be like, "Hey, Deshaun, let's work some money out." They're
Yeah.
gonna go around the
Andrew
team like
Berry's
they did
gonna
last year.
wave his magic wand, and then all of a sudden they're
Yeah,
gonna have $65 million in cap space.
yeah, for sure. And I think that there might be a trade or two too. Um, which I would be excited for. I just wanna get a receiver. I wanna get one that's, like, actually gonna line up on the other side of Amari and scare the dog piss out of corners,
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we've always needed that wide receiver too. We've not had it. I mean, a lot of people thought DPJ was gonna finally mold into that, and
Yep.
then
He didn't.
he never did, man.
He didn't. He just
Like,
could never take that leap.
yeah, like, I mean, last year, I mean, he was solid. I mean, I thought he was gonna get 1,000 yards and just never did,
Yeah.
but MC says, curious what we'll do with the running back room.
I
I
mean, I have an opinion.
Let's hear it, Dave. Let's hear that
You
opinion.
have got to have a stud backup for Chubb. You just got to. I mean, you're gonna Chubb. Hopefully, Chubb will be just fine.
Yeah.
But you have got to have a stud backup running back, like somebody that could be a workhorse should Chubb go down again, because you can't be coming up into that situation we were this year. That's just what I was thinking. Type in the comments, MC. What would you do?
Yeah, I agree, Dave. Like, well, there's one running back that's probably gonna be hitting the free agency market.
Saquon?
And yeah,
Yep.
Saquon Barkley,
Yep.
Thunder Thigh Barkley. You know, I mean, it'd be a hefty price.
Yeah,
And I
I
would.
mean, or one of these studs coming out of the draft too. I mean, I would take either a
Yeah.
quality free agent or a draft pick, but either way, you've got to have a
What are
better option.
what are your thoughts on Brandon Allen? Do you know who that is?
So,
Wisconsin?
who is he? Oh, the running back.
Yeah, the running back out of Wisconsin. He's
I
six
mean,
foot two, like I think he's 215. I might be wrong on that.
yeah, I mean, I mean, if you're going off of productivity, he's typical Wisconsin productive back.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he checks the boxes. I think. There's probably three running backs there that I would take. Um, with
Yeah.
Corum being number one, would be my choice number one overall.
See, I'm leaning more toward. I mean, I like Corum, and I've been big on him. I'll be very happy if the
He's
Browns
not
take Corum,
flashy. He's not flashy.
but I mean, Brandon Allen is growing on me a lot. The size, the skill set. Like, I mean, the dude can
I'll
just
go
bully
watch more
kids.
Brandon Allen tape for sure.
He's very solid.
Yeah.
Strong. He's a strong back and can get the yards. Still pretty young. I think he's just 21. So I mean, you'd be getting a younger back. I mean, Blake Corum's going to be going into or turning 24 in his rookie year at some point.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit older.
Yep.
So, but I
Things to
think
consider.
they'll revitalize that running back room. MC, he says running backs class has to be priority.
I agree. You cannot take the chance of Chubb
Ah,
having another
ah.
injury or not coming back. You gotta have that running
See,
game.
I think that's why they hired Dorsey, though. I think that they're expecting, like, not to rely on the running back as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'd have to look at that Buffalo offense
Nah,
and see
receivers.
what
I
their
agree,
run
Jay.
pass was.
Yeah, I would agree with Jay there. I think wide receivers has to be the priority this offseason, and I think AB's
Definite
gonna
priority. Yeah.
seriously look into that. Could you imagine if he somehow pulled off a DK Metcalf trade? Like, I know it's not realistic at all, but could you imagine DK Metcalf catching the ball from Deshaun Watson, lining up across from David Njoku and Amari Cooper?
No. No, I can't imagine that actually. So
Yeah,
if it
that'd
happens, that would be
be
astonishing.
that would be straight porn to watch. I'm
Yep.
not gonna lie. Be like that'd be hard to stop too.
Jay
Yeah,
says,
nah,
Nick
nah, nah,
Ixnay on the DK.
nah, man.
Yep.
How can you say no to DK though, man? As a wide receiver too, he's gonna take any cornerback too. There's no cornerback to stopping him.
Yeah. Would you take DK Metcalf over T. Higgins though?
Um,
I don't know. I don't know if I would.
that'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. I'd have to watch both of them side by side. I'll do that actually later.
Yeah, the draft is packed.
But I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think we're gonna be able to get him. I think the only way we would be able to get DK is if we worked out a trade. Um, let's see. MC Tillman will have a big jump,
I hope,
athletic and
dude.
strong as well. I
He's a
hope
big body.
so. This draft is packed with wideouts.
It is.
Yeah, I know,
It is.
but here's the thing: AB struggles to draft the right receiver. Okay, I mean, he took Anthony Schwartz over
Schwartz,
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Bell.
Yeah, I mean, but this year, I mean, this is probably one of the most stacked wide receiver classes we've had in years.
It's pretty deep. I know I'll be paying attention to it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We got to get one of them. We
Yeah,
got to
for
get one
sure.
of them.
I want Brendan Rice. I mean, I want Brendan Rice in Cleveland. I know a lot of people want other guys, but I think Brendan Rice would fit him well.
Yep. Dude, that's what tells you how deep the wide receiver class is because there are so many people that have different favorites for who they would want. That just tells you everything right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys. It all depends on what we do in the second round. If we go wide receiver, we could go Xavier Leggett or whatever his name is. Yeah, from South Carolina. He'll be depending on how he does at the combine. I think will impact his draft or his draft stock because if he balls out at the combine, he's going in the first round. Like we ain't gonna have a shot unless we trade up. And then, I mean, you got Brendan Rice, you got Jalen Polk.
My favorite from Oregon. Do you know who that is?
Tell me about him real quick. Tell me about him.
The gentleman reminds me of Deshaun Jackson.
Oh.
And he looks a little bigger.
Yeah.
I think he releases better. I think his route running is crisper, but I like the kid from Oregon. And to be honest with you, I can't for the life of me remember his name right now. But that is my favorite. That's the one I would want overall. Although I'd love that Xavier Leggett film.
He's a dog.
Yeah, you started it out. I think you posted something on the text string with a little snippet of him.
Yeah,
so
I sent one to you guys before I started hopping up wide receivers because a few weeks ago I did like a little like a drop down thing of like all the main receivers that would probably be around where we pick. And let me see if I did one on him. I didn't know the one from Oregon. I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah.
But I did on that breakdown. I did Roman Wilson out of Michigan, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Polk, Brendan Rice, and Xavier Leggett. And if you guys want to go check that out, it's on Twitter. It breaks down all their stats, how tall, their weight, weaknesses, and strengths. So I mean, it has all that. Breaks down all of it, so you can. I should have put some film in.
Troy Franklin.
Oh yeah. He'll probably go early.
6'3", 187, blazing speed, plays bigger than 187. and he's probably going to be in an opportunity area to where we can get him. So that's what I think. Who said that? Who was talking about receivers? Jay, who would you draft, Jay? Of all those rookie receivers, what's your number one for the Browns?
Yeah, let's see. He made it a few. He said, "No, we have that Elijah." See, I don't trust Elijah Moore to take
No.
over.
You talking about Troy Franklin?
Uh, we need to press receivers. Moore stepping up. I hope so, man. I'd love to see Moore step up next year. I mean, make the trade a little bit better. I mean, moving back to 30 picks. I mean, he
Yeah,
might ball out though. It's a contract year. Usually receivers ball out those years.
hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely there's definitely a place for him on the team in that offense. It's just
Yeah.
not it's just not number two.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so other than that, who could you see the Browns possibly picking up in free agency?
Well, me personally, we talked about this before, but obviously the wide receiver prospects that we talked about, T. Higgins being number one. But secondly would be one of them big defensive tackles that's available. I think we could still use help there, especially if we don't bring Mo Hurst back. So, that's pretty much where I would be looking at. I know linebackers. We
Yeah.
talked about linebackers, a little bit of the Devin White
Hey,
experiment.
listen, I'm fine if we pass on the linebackers in free agency. There's a cat out of NC State. Um, his name's Peyton Wilson. He's 6'4", 234. His coverage grade on PFF was 90.4. His run defense was 83.7. Dude's got a huge frame. Dude plays like Bobby Boucher, bro. He will crack anybody that comes over that middle.
It sounds like a first round pick to me, though. I mean, is that
He's old. He's older.
is he?
That's the con. Yeah, he used his
Oh,
COVID year and 5th year. So he's like 20, 30 and a half already. He's a little bit older.
yep. Yeah,
So
maybe that could be a
I would
slide.
I would love to have him, man. He's
Bobby
got that
Boucher.
dog. He's the old school linebacker,
Yeah.
but he's fast. Like, he
Yeah,
could
I would
probably
like that. I would like that.
yeah, we need that because I mean, the likelihood of us retaining all the linebackers we had last year, like Sion Taki, love to bring him back. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see us keeping him.
You don't think we'll
I,
bring him back? I thought of
I would.
any of the linebackers, that would probably be the one to
I feel
bring
like his
back.
price tag's gonna be too high because I mean he had a really good year last year.
I
I think
saw
the only
something where he was looking at like 4.5 to 5 mil a year. That sounds like a Taki kind of number to me.
I mean, if he takes that, I'm down. I just
Yeah.
feel like he could like go elsewhere and make more. That'd be the thing. Cause like he's a
Yeah.
dog. Like, I mean, so good in coverage.
I
I mean, he
like
can
him.
line up on
I
the
like
edge if he needs to.
Yep.
Uh,
We need a
but
replacement for Anthony Walker Jr. if we do not bring him
yeah.
back. So we
Well, I
have
mean,
got
that
to
Peyton Wilson, man, that's what he plays as middle linebacker.
yep.
And he's tall, man, 6'4", playing that.
Be like Patrick Willis.
Dude, that'd be insane.
Do
Dude's
you
a
remember
guy,
Patrick Willis? Was that like before
yeah.
you were born? Okay.
No, sir. No, sir. That was like I remember watching him in his prom. So when
How
I
about
started
Luke
watching
Kuechly?
yeah, I remember Luke.
Okay.
When I started watching football, Brett Favre was on the decline. He so I remember Brett Favre playing in Green Bay, but I really didn't understand football at the time. I remember him playing more for the Vikings.
Okay. Do you remember Rodgers being in the waiting room of the draft for like
See, no, dude, I
6
think I
days waiting
was
to get picked?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, yeah. So he
I thought
slid.
he slid to like 20. He was in the 20s, wasn't it?
It
Or
was
the 50?
it was late in the first round, but he was projected to be like a top 5 pick. And that was like the
See,
thing every time the pick would happen and it wouldn't be him, the camera would just like cut to him sitting
yeah.
in the back room and stuff. It was brutal.
See, the first thing I remember about the draft, NFL draft, because I never really understood it, because I was more in the NBA at the time. But the first one I ever watched was when Randall Cobb got picked by the Green Bay Packers. That was the first draft I ever watched.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that was
So that was a
08 or
while that was a
09.
while back because Cobb played for a long time. So
Yeah, I think that was in 09. So I
yeah.
think I was in 3rd grade or something like that. 4th
Okay.
grade,
All right.
first, second. I don't remember. I don't
Yep.
remember that far ago. Um, But yeah, it's
Nobody cares about history anymore anyway.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And
that's irrelevant.
but I do remember the Colt McCoy hype. I remember the Colt McCoy hype.
Yeah.
That was I
Dude, I
remember
liked Colt McCoy. I liked Colt McCoy, and I think a lot of Browns fans like Colt McCoy too because he had a lot of heart. He played bigger than what he was, but that was just a time of the Browns being so bad that it wouldn't matter who really was playing quarterback. It was
yeah.
just bad.
Yeah, that was just a bad time. But the first real season I remember for the Browns, I know this is a big segue, but the first real season I remember, like, from start to finish watching and actually, like, getting into it
It was like
was
2018.
nah, bro, no, don't diss me like that.
Hey,
Don't
hey,
diss me like that.
that's not
Listen,
ageism.
yeah, it is, man. You're dissing on me. I remember when I actually was like into the draft and stuff, I was like 11, so I knew what was going on. But the first real season I remember was 2010, I believe. It might have been 11. Was that which year was it that Peyton Hillis just had that crazy year? Was it 10?
Somewhere in that range. Yeah.
See, that's what like
Yeah, 10 or 11 because we were
like
in Florida when it happened. So
see, I mean, I've always been a Browns fan, but that was when I really like got into football because like I was always just like a baseball and basketball junkie. But like, I mean, dad would always have the games on, but like I just never really was like, oh, football. Like,
yeah,
cool. I'll watch a few plays and then go on. And then like that was the year like you see Peyton Hillis out there running 200 yards on the freaking Patriots.
I killed him. Killed him. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick, dude, ran all over him. Yep, that was a great
Yeah.
game.
Great card on Madden too. Great card.
Yeah, yep. Especially if he's boosted with that Browns Kim.
Dude, for sure, for sure.
Man.
But before we go here today, Dave, let's just get a Browns hot take for this offseason. What do you think's gonna
A Browns hot take.
yeah, like just something spicy that you think is gonna happen that you've not heard yet.
The Browns trade Deshaun Watson on draft day.
Huh?
The Browns trade Deshaun Watson on draft day.
What? You think that they trade Watson?
You
Like I
said you
really
wanted a spicy hot take, so I
I
gave you
no, I
it.
mean, okay, not like unrealistic. I mean like
I don't
like
know if it's
realistic.
unrealistic or not. I mean, you get somebody willing to take on that kind of money. Number one, his money isn't that expensive right now. He's
Yeah,
probably
that's
the
true.
10th or 12th highest paid quarterback in the league. He flashed enough last year. He went 6-1.
Yeah. I mean, but do you think a team would
Ooh.
actually take that contract on though?
I think there's probably a few teams that would probably consider it. The
But the
Jets would
thing
probably be one of them.
yeah, but Jay brought up a good point. He said Watson is guaranteed. That'd be the struggle,
It
man. You
sure
would
he is.
not
Absolutely is
you
guaranteed.
you would get such a garbage return on that.
Dude, they're talking about Baker getting 40 million a year. I mean,
No,
what's
I mean
50 to
like
60 to Deshaun
nobody
Watson? That ain't nothing.
yeah, but these teams are gonna get somehow, somewhere. They're gonna win the contract battle.
Robert Saleh has basically got told by the owner that this year is going to happen or heads are going to roll. That's what the owner of the Jets said to everybody.
Oh
So
well,
you don't think
yeah.
that they'll be in there in New York thinking, man, we need to get a quarterback situation solved right
They
now.
got
And
Aaron
just in case
Rodgers.
Rodgers can't be the guy. I don't know.
They'll rock with Rodgers no matter
They
what
will.
next
They
year.
will. I know.
But I just don't see the Watson trade happening, man. Like that's I mean, he's good, but nobody's taking on that contract outside of us. Like, I mean, you just
You
gotta
asked
rock
the
with it.
question, so I ran down the 53-man roster in my head as fast as I possibly could and
See,
thought, what
you
would
should
be
have
the
gave.
craziest, spiciest hot take? And that's what I
See,
came up with.
as weird as it is, I could see us trading Nick Chubb before we would Watson, and
Oh,
I
dude,
know
you shouldn't even speak that into the universe, number one.
I'm
I
not
mean,
saying they
keep
would.
Chubb's name out your mouth.
I'm just saying, like they would definitely trade a running back before they would a quarterback. That's just how the NFL works.
Yeah.
I personally love Chubb. He's my favorite player. Him and Miles are my two favorite players on the team. But at the end of the day, it's a business. You don't know how he's gonna come back.
Yep. Yep. I agree. which is why you got.
But here's the hot take that I was gonna say. I think Nick Chubb's gonna lead the NFL in rushing yards next year.
Dude, he's gonna pull an Adrian Peterson. I love it.
No, they need to hear me out, bro. They need to ban test boosters and stuff like that, steroids in the offseason. Let him shoot up a little bit, get like jack, absolutely turn that like 1% body fat that he has
into 0.5
into like 0.1 or negative body fat. Negative body fat, dude. Be out there.
I like it. Make it so. Make it so.
Nick Chubb would be hitting guys so hard that they'd forget who they were.
Dude, yeah. I mean, he's so ridiculous on his own. If he had a cheat or a booster like that, I mean, that would be ridiculous.
I just want to see Nick Chubb back on the field, man.
I think he will be. If anybody can come back, he's just as tough as Adrian Peterson was. And there's only a handful of people that could come back from 2 of those big injuries, but I think Chubb's one of them. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Nick Chubb is an absolute tank. He's already came back from this injury. Is the thing. Like he had that injury when he played against Tennessee down there, getting some volunteers. So we all hate.
I mean, he had it in college too. He had a couple bad injuries. So,
well, that was. I mean, that knee, the hit in the knee was against Tennessee, and like it was in that same knee that Minkah hit.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Same knee. Right. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, same knee. Yep.
So that's the thing that scares me is like 2 major surgeries on that same knee.
Yeah.
But
he's not human though, dude. He is not. Yeah,
that's true. He's Nick Chubb. He's Batman.
Yeah, he's mechanical, man. He's an alien.
Maybe that's why he doesn't show any emotion.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Dude, he's so loved. I mean, he's so loved for a fan base to absolutely just so love a player, man, like Nick Chubb. I've never seen it with any team. I mean, really. And I love him. I love him. I've seen countless players in the NFL. I'm 50 years old. I've been watching football since I can even remember. And Nick Chubb is my favorite player of all time. So
heck yeah,
he's pretty special, man. Pretty special.
Yeah, we love Chubb. Yep. Nick Chubb, not Chubb.
Hey, way to muscle through this thing, being nasally and sick, man. I am proud of you, dude.
Yeah, we're out here riding. Because, I'm always down for the Browns, baby.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. And I think that's a great way to end the episode. And as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Yes, sir.
Birds up!